last look at today's news and the first look at tomorrow's Newsbeat 28. With Terry Thill, Val Holly Dennis, meteorologist Chris Thompson, and on sports, Mike Fuller. Now, Newsbeat 28 update.
Is a chemical plant a health hazard or a good neighbor to those who contribute to the community?
That was the question up for discussion tonight at a meeting in Butner. Carol Wilkinson was at that meeting. We'll have a full report later on in the news.
Well, meanwhile, tonight, the Wake County Board of Education got some public input on its $200 million school construction project. The long-range proposed project would put more than 24 new schools in Wake County by the mid-1990s. Most of the residents speaking tonight were in favor of the construction and urged the board to quickly begin building new schools in their areas.
We know that before us lies a great challenge. The influx of population and the implementation of the basic education program are going to mean many changes in our schools in the next 6 years. You are presently addressing one of the areas greatly impacted by those two things, facilities.
The Board of Education meets again next week, and members say hopefully at that time they will act on the long-range building proposals.
The site for a hazardous waste treatment plant in North Carolina remains up in the air tonight. Members of the State Hazardous Waste Commission met earlier today, and they say there is still a lot of information needed before they can make a final decision. Despite earlier decisions by the commission to remove some sites in the Triangle from the list of possibilities, they now say the entire Piedmont area, including the Triangle and the Triad, are still in the running. Commission members say they don't want to alarm residents, but there are still a number of undisclosed sites under consideration.
We would be saying to them, hey, we're looking at property in your county, and they have to respond to that. When in fact, down the road, a short time, those properties may not even be considered at all because we find out with a very, very preliminary evaluation they're not appropriate.
Members say there is still no consensus, that is, on just how large the site should be. They're also seeking guidance from the Attorney General's office on whether North Carolina will be required to accept waste from other states and what impact that would have on the size of the plant.
It's the end of an era at the Southeastern Baptist Seminary in Wake Forest. As expected, Randall Lally stepped down today as president, but the trustees were not prepared for what followed. 4 of Lally's top administrators announced their resignations as well. Lally says it was the hostility and power politics of fundamentalism that forced him out.
The sad fact is that now just being an inheritance no longer qualifies one for leadership in the Southern Baptist Convention. A person has to be a card-carrying inheritor. That is to say, he must be committed to the particular agenda of those who selected him for leadership, or he is disqualified for prominence in this denomination.
The resignations become effective next July. Residents of Wake Forest say they fear that contributions to the seminary will dry up and student enrollment will decline in the aftermath of today's resignations.
A Raleigh bishop is among 300 Catholic bishops meeting in Washington, D.C. this week to discuss sex education in public schools. The bishops today got a first-hand look at a statement that would declare their opposition to public school health clinics that hand out contraceptives and give abortion counseling. Bishop Joseph Gossman of Raleigh told Newsbeat 28 earlier today that the clinics are not the proper response to the problem of teenage pregnancy. The bishops will vote Thursday on the statement. It calls for federal and state governments to outlaw dispensing of contraceptives at school.
The U.S. State Department is protesting Kenya's expulsion of 7 American missionaries. Kenya has alleged an $80 million Ku Klux Klan-related sabotage plot involving a western North Carolina church. Newspapers in Nairobi, Kenya, say the 7 missionaries had ties to the Fosco Christian Church near Boone. The papers say the church and the Klan had raised the money as part of a plan to carry out a plot aimed at overthrowing the government of the black African nation. The State Department is calling the allegations absurd.
Still ahead on Newsbeat 28 update, Soviet leader Gorbachev could become the first leader of a communist government to address a joint meeting of Congress. We'll have details.
And heating or eating, it's a painful choice. Health Beat reporter Ben Garrett looks at what's being done to help after this.
Play it safe. Improve your health with Northridge Chiropractic, across from Ravenscroft School on Falls in the Neuse Road. Look for them inside the back cover of the Raleigh phone book.
Here are 3 ideas for the holidays from Food Lion. One is this gift certificate, great for family, friends, or business, available in any amount at any Food Lion store. We've also stocked up on Christmas trees. These beautiful, sturdy Fraser firs grown in the North Carolina mountains are available for only $24.99 at Food Lion. And what would the holidays be without poinsettias? We've made a special purchase of these beauties, and they're here at Food Lion for only $2.99 each. 3 ideas from Food Lion to cheer up your holiday and your